So, good morning, friends. So, today we are going to discuss about a problem on concurrent forces. So, generally, a force is defined as an activity which is used for changing the position of the body. That means by applying a force, you can change the position of the body from rest position to moving position. And similarly, by applying force on a moving body, you can change the position from moving position to rest position. So, resting bodies can be brought to moving position by application of a force, and similarly moving bodies can be brought to rest position by application of a force. So it can be called as an activity which can be used for changing the position of the body. That means changing the position from static position to dynamic position, and also from or changing dynamic position to static position of the body. So this is the basic definition of a force, and we are following SI system. So therefore, the unit of force in SI system, it is given as newtons. So generally, forces are expressed in terms of newtons, and also in terms of sometimes in terms of kilonewtons. So 1 kilonewton is equivalent to 1000 newtons. So only a simple conversion. So therefore, these forces can be expressed either in kilonewtons or in newtons. That means you multiply the value of force value of kilonewtons with 1000. So you will be getting the value in newtons. And take the value of newtons, you divide it with 1000. So again, it will be getting converted into kilonewtons. So in SI system, so forces are generally expressed in terms of newtons and kilonewtons. So N for representing Newton and Kn for representing kilonewtons. So these are the standard units used for indicating forces in SI system. So different systems will be having different units. Now we are following, SI system. So therefore, all the forces must be expressed either in terms of newtons denoted by capital N, or in terms of kilonewtons denoted by Kn. So friends, this is the, about the concept of, force. So it is, equation is derived by taking Newton's second law of motion into consideration. So this formula and units of force have been derived, were derived by taking Newton's second law of motion into consideration. So finally, unless you apply a force, the resting body will not be coming into motion. And unless you apply a force on a moving body, it will not be coming to rest position. So for changing the position of the body, either from rest position to moving position, or from moving position to rest position, we have to apply certain amount of force. So therefore, this force, it is defined as an activity used for changing the position of the body. So now, friends, we have to, solve the problem that is shown in this particular figure. So several forces are shown in this figures, and magnitude of all the forces given in this particular figure. So friends, generally capital F is used for indicating the various forces. So notations are very, very important. So we have to talk about definitions, we have to talk about units, we have to talk about notations, and also we have to talk about formulas. So notations are very, very, important for indicating, various parameters. So here, capital F is the notation or a symbol or a letter that is used for indicating the values of forces. And secondly, these values of forces, they are referred to as magnitudes. So here in the problem, first force is denoted by F1. You can see in the first quadrant. So this is the first quadrant, and here we have second quadrant, and this is the third, quadrant, and finally this is the fourth quadrant. So starting from this point, we have to move in anti-clockwise direction for indicating the various quadrants of the given axis. Now back to the point, F is used, the letter F has to be used for indicating the magnitudes of forces, or for indicating the various forces acting on a particular system. So therefore now here totally four forces are given in this particular figure. So this is the first force denoted by F1. This is the second force denoted by F2, and this is the third force denoted by F3, and fourth force denoted by F4. So F for indicating the force acting on the body, and suffixes numericals are used for indicating the various forces. So obviously first force denoted by F1, second force denoted by F2, F suffix 2, third force denoted by F3, and last force denoted by F4. So friends, this is the way of indicating the forces. Letter F, letter capital F has to be used for indicating forces. And here we have number of forces. So numbers are given for these forces. So therefore, first force to be denoted by F1, second force to be denoted by F2, third force is F3, and last force, which is referred to as F4. And finally, we can see the values. Now, the values of all these forces are given in the problem. F1 is given as 40 newtons, F2 is given as 50 newtons, F3 is given as 80 newtons, and finally F4 it is given as 70 newtons. So this 40, 50, 80, 70, they are called as magnitudes of forces. Magnitude of first force 40 newtons, magnitude of second force 50 newtons, third force it is 80 newtons, and last force it is given as 70 newtons. So what is the value of a force? How much force is acting in this direction? That's called as a magnitude. It is given as a 40 newtons. How much force is acting in this direction? That is another magnitude. That's 50 newtons. So similarly, 80 newtons of force is acting in this direction, and 70 newton of force is acting in this direction. So F value to be used for indicating the various forces, and numericals 1, 2, 3 for indicating the first, second, third, and fourth forces respectively. And these values given in the problem, they are nothing but the magnitudes of different forces. So we need these values of forces that are called as magnitudes. So these magnitudes are given in the problem. Magnitude of first force F1 is 40, F2 is 50 newtons, F3 is 80, and F4 this is given as 70 newtons. And friends, this F1 is acting in the first quadrant, F2 is shown in the second quadrant, F3 is shown in the third quadrant, and F4 it is shown in the F3 it is shown in the fourth quadrant, and F4 it is shown in the third quadrant. So different forces are acting in different quadrants. F1 in first quadrant, F2 in second quadrant, F4 in third quadrant, and F3 in fourth quadrant. Friends, second, lastly, what are the angles? What is the angle made by each and every force? So these values are given. So this is given as 25 degrees. First force is making an angle of 25 degrees with the positive x-axis. And this is the positive x-axis, and here we have negative x-axis. This is called as a positive y-axis, and this is called as a negative y-axis. So first force, it is making an angle of 25 degrees with the positive x-axis as already given in the problem. And second force, it is making an angle of this is first force, it is making an angle of 25 degrees with the positive x-axis. Second force, making an angle of 40 degrees with the negative x-axis. And now this angle is given as 15 degrees. So therefore the remaining angle will be equivalent to 75 degrees. So F4 is making an angle of 75 degrees from negative x-axis. So this angle has to be taken as 75 degrees. So this angle is given as 15 degrees, and the total value of this angle is 90 degrees. So 90 minus 15, it is coming to 75. So therefore, this angle has to be taken as 75 degrees. That is very, very useful for solving the problem and getting the results. So friends, the angle made by F4 will be equivalent to, must be taken as 75 degrees from negative x-axis. And finally, coming to F3, this angle is given as 60. So therefore, similarly, 90 minus 60 will be equivalent to 30. So this angle will be equivalent to 30. And this is used again for solving problem, for making calculations and solving problem. So friends, F1 is making an angle of 25 degrees with the positive x-axis. F2 is making an angle of 40 degrees with the negative x-axis. F4 is making an angle of 75 degrees with negative x-axis. F3, it is making an angle of 30 degrees with the positive x-axis. So friends, these are the angles to be considered. Firstly, 25 degrees, 40 degrees, 75 degrees, and 30 degrees. These are the angles considered for writing equations and making the calculations. So, indication of forces F1, F2, F3, F4, and the values of forces, magnitudes of forces 40, 50, 80, and 70 newtons. The angles made by these forces with respect to, positive and negative x-axis. It's 25 degrees, 40 degrees, it's 30 degrees, and here we have 75 degrees. So all these values are very, very essential for writing equations and making calculations. Now, lastly, we have to talk about the directions. So this force is acting in this direction. So it has to be resolved into two components, horizontal component and vertical component. So this can be called as a resultant. It is resolved into two components, horizontal and vertical components. So horizontal component will be acting in reverse direction, and vertical component will be acting in downward direction. So the arrow is given in downward, the arrow of the resultant. So these directions depend upon the direction of the resultant. So the resultant is acting in this direction. So therefore, horizontal component of this resultant will be acting in reverse direction. Vertical component, it will be acting in downward direction. And similarly, the second resultant is acting in this direction. So therefore, vertical component will be, shown, has to be shown in upward direction, and the horizontal component, again, it has to be shown in reverse direction. And thirdly, this third force is acting in this direction. So therefore, horizontal component has to be shown in forward direction. vertical component has to be shown in downward direction. And lastly, F4 is acting away from this point. So therefore, horizontal component will be acting in reverse direction. Vertical component will be acting in downward direction. So for each and every force, we have to resolve each and every force into horizontal and vertical components. We have to measure these values. So they are very, useful for making calculations and getting the results. Now, friends, cos theta has to be applied for obtaining horizontal value, and sin theta has to be applied for getting the values of vertical values or vertical components. So therefore, this is written as 40 cos horizontal component of this force will be equivalent to 40 cos 25. Vertical component, it will be equivalent to 40 sin 25. And similarly, the horizontal component of this force will be equivalent to 50 cos 40, and vertical component will be equivalent to 50 sin 40. Similarly, coming to this force, horizontal component will be equivalent to 80 cos 30. Vertical component will be equivalent to 80 sin 30. Friends, lastly, as far as this force is concerned, F4 is concerned, horizontal component will be equivalent to 70 cos 75. The vertical component will be equivalent to 70 sin 75. So these values are, very, important. So we have talked about the directions, each and every force. We have talked about the directions of horizontal and vertical components. And now, we have noted down the values of horizontal and vertical components of all these forces. And finally, friends, allocation of symbols are very important. So whenever a horizontal component is acting in forward direction, positive symbol must be allocated for that component. And if it is acting in a reverse direction, negative symbol must be allocated for that component. And similarly, coming to Y components, if it is shown in upward direction, we have to allocate positive symbol. And if it is shown in downward direction, we have to allocate a negative symbol. So allocation of symbols are very important. Positive symbols to be allocated only for forward forces and upward forces. Negative symbols to be allocated only for backward forces and downward forces. So allocation of symbols for various forces, that is very important for making correct calculations. So instead of plus symbol, you put minus symbol or vice versa, you will be going wrong while showing the results. You have to be very careful while allotting symbols for horizontal and vertical components. So we have talked about the forces. So for doing the problem, each and every force has to be resolved into components, horizontal and vertical components. We have to indicate the directions of horizontal and vertical components for each and every force. Now these directions depend upon the direction of the given force, direction of the resultant. So based on the direction of these forces, we have to indicate accordingly, we have to indicate directions for horizontal and vertical components. Now after doing this, positive symbol must be allocated for forward forces and upward forces. Negative symbol must be allocated for backward forces and downward forces. So friends, if we are thorough, with all these aspects, we can very easily, write the, equations. We can easily allot the symbols, signs for the equations, so that we will be getting correct results in the exam. So friends, always horizontal component will be, F1 into cos theta, we get the horizontal component, and F1 into sin theta, we get the vertical component, as I've already told you in the beginning. And similarly, F2 into cos theta, we get the horizontal component as F2 into cos theta. F2 into sin theta, so gives us a vertical component of F2. Similarly, here this will be horizontal component will be equivalent to F3 cos theta. Vertical component will be equivalent to F3 sin theta. Similarly, for F4, horizontal component will be equivalent to F4 cos theta. The vertical component will be equivalent to F4, sin theta. So it's a very, simple. We are using basic rules of trigonometry. So for getting the values of horizontal components and vertical components of all the forces given in the problem. One more thing is the theta has to be selected. That means the angle made by the horizontal only must be taken as a theta. So here already it's given in the problem. So this can be taken as a theta 1. And this is also an angle making with the horizontal. This can be taken as a theta 2. But the angles made with vertical are given in these cases. So therefore, this angle and this angle has to be measured. This angle is coming to 30 degrees. 90 minus 60 is coming to 30 degrees. So therefore, 30 has to be taken as theta 3, or theta 3 has to be taken as 30 degrees. And similarly, theta 4, it has to be taken as 90 minus 15, that is 75 degrees. Theta 4 has to be taken as 75 degrees. So theta 1 is 25 degrees, theta 2 is 40 degrees, already given in the problem. Theta 3 must be taken as 90 minus 60, that is 30 degrees. Theta 4 must be taken as 90 minus 15, that is 75 degrees. So friends, selection of angles, writing horizontal and vertical components, giving directions for horizontal and vertical components, and allocating plus and minus symbols for horizontal and vertical components, plus symbols for forward and upward forces, minus symbol for backward and downward forces. So all these factors are very, all these activities are very essential for writing, calculations, for writing equations and making calculations in the various problems. So these are the rules to be adopted not only for this problem. These rules will be useful for all the problems pertaining to force systems. So friends, so I mean naming the forces F1, F2, F3, F4, and locating the angles theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, theta 4, and writing horizontal and vertical, writing the values of horizontal and vertical components, and giving the directions for all these components, and finally allocating plus and minus symbols based on these directions. So all these things are very, very essential for solving the problem. So friends, we have, talked about, all the things in the previous slide. Now here we have to measure the value of sigma x. So this is acting in reverse direction. This is acting in reverse direction. This force, you can go back and refer the figure. So this is acting in reverse direction. Only this force is acting in forward direction. So plus symbol is allocated for this horizontal component, and minus symbol is allocated for all other components. So sigma x, sum of horizontal components, So we have discussed about 40 cos 25, 50 cos 40, 70 cos 75, 80 cos 30. So in the previous slide, so you can refer figures, and we have allocated the directions for horizontal and vertical components. And based on the directions, we have to give these symbols. Negative symbols for all these horizontal components, and a positive symbol for only this horizontal component. So this is acting, this is shown in forward direction. So we are allocating positive symbol. All these forces are shown in reverse direction. We are putting negative. So friends, we can calculate the values 40 into cos 25 coming to 36.25. 50 cos 40, it will be coming to 38.3. 70 cos 75 coming to 18.12. 80 cos 30, it will be coming to 69.28. So all these values are negative and this value is positive. So let us find out the value of sigma x. It is obtained as 43.39. It's a negative value. So we have more number of negative values. So ultimately we are getting a negative value. So it is written as 23.39 newtons. So sigma x, friends, sigma x is obtained as 23.39 newtons. And similarly, we can write down the values equation for sigma y. So instead of cos values, we are putting the sine values. So here it is cos 25, here it will be 40 sine 25, and here this will be 50 sine 40, and here it will be 70 sine 75, and here it will be 80 sine 30. Friends, all these forces, first force, third force, and this force, it is acting in downward direction. We are allocating negative symbols, and this is acting in upward direction, so we are allocating positive symbol. Now we can make the calculations. 40 sine 25 coming to 16.9, 50 sine 40 coming to 32.14, 70 sine 75 coming to 67.62, 80 sine 30 coming to 40. So sine 30 is half of 80 will be equivalent to 40. And friends, a positive symbol, this is the only force acting in upward direction. We are giving plus symbol. All the forces are shown in downward direction. We are giving negative symbol. Now let us measure the value of sigma y. It is obtained as 92.38 newtons. So it's a negative value. We are here also we are having 3 negative values. So final value is also negative. So it is written as 92.38 newtons. And friends, now we have to measure the magnitude of resultant. So this R is given as a square root of x square plus y square. So 23.39 whole square plus 92.38 whole square. So this is placed under root, square root. So by doing all these calculations, it is obtained as 95.295 newtons. So friends, this is the value of resultant. So this is the resultant. This is called as resultant of resultants. F1, F2, F3, F4, they're called as forces and individual resultants. So we are measuring the resultant of those resultants. So it is called as a final resultant. It's called as a resultant of resultants, or also it is referred to as a final resultant. So we are getting the value of this parameter. It's a magnitude, that's called as magnitude of resultant. So denoted by capital R, and by making all these calculations, it is obtained as 95.295 newtons. So friends, this is the way of doing the problem. So you indicate the values of forces, resolving each and every force, resolving forces into horizontal and vertical components, and showing the directions for horizontal and vertical components, allocating plus and minus symbols for horizontal and vertical components, and finding out the sum of all the horizontal components, sigma x, measuring the sum of all the vertical components, sigma y, and ultimately using this formula. So this formula expressed in terms of x square, sigma x square and sigma y square can be used for measuring the resultant. So that is called as magnitude of resultant. So friends, we go back to this slide. So these are already given. So minus, as I've already told you, minus 40 cos 25, it's acting in reverse direction. Minus 40 sin 25 vertical component, it's acting in downward direction. And similarly, minus 50 cos 40, it is acting in reverse direction. And plus 50 sin 40, it is acting in upward direction. So here also horizontal component will be acting in forward direction. You are allocating plus symbol. Vertical component acting in downward direction. We are allocating minus symbol. So therefore it is written as 80 plus 80 cos 30, and this has to be taken as minus 80 sin 30. Similarly, this x component is acting in reverse direction. So allocate minus symbol. Y component acting in a downward direction. Again, allocate minus symbol. So friends, therefore this value will be equivalent to minus 70 cos 75, and the vertical component will be equivalent to minus 70 sin 70. So all these values we have taken for writing the equations of sigma x, sigma y. We have taken horizontal values of horizontal components for obtaining the value of sigma x. We have taken all the vertical components for obtaining the value of sigma y. But ultimately, these values are used for measuring the magnitude of resultant. So friends, so finally we have to, find out the direction of resultant. So this is given by a formula. Magnitude of resultant. It is given as under root of sigma x square plus sigma y square, as given in the previous slide. Now we have to measure the direction of resultant. So tan theta, it is written as sigma y by sigma x. Sigma y, it is indicating the opposite side, and sigma x, it is indicating adjacent side. So tan theta will be equivalent to opposite side by adjacent side. So therefore, it is written as y by x. And friends, you take the value of sigma y. In the previous slide, it is obtained as 92 minus 92.38, and sigma x, it is obtained as minus 23.39. So you take these values. So it is written as minus 92.38 divided by minus 23.39. So it will be coming to 3.9, 3.9496. And from this we can measure the tan inverse tan of this 3.95. It will be coming to 75.79 degrees. So friends, this is called as capital R, which we have calculated in the previous slide. That is called as magnitude of resultant. And this theta, it is used for representing the direction of resultant. So magnitude of resultant, it is obtained as 95.295 newtons, and the direction of resultant denoted by theta, it is expressed in terms of degrees. It is obtained as 75.79 degrees. So friends, we will be asked, we will be given the configuration of forces as shown in the figure. So we have to do all the calculations. We have to find out the horizontal components, vertical components, giving directions to these components, and allocating plus and minus symbols according to these directions, and making the calculations of sigma x by taking all horizontal components, and finding out, making the value of sigma y by taking all the vertical components. And by doing this sigma x and sigma y calculations, ultimately we can measure the magnitude of resultant and also direction of resultant. So capital R for indicating the magnitude of resultant, expressed either in newtons or in kilonewtons. So all the forces are given in terms of newtons, so resultant will be also obtained in newtons. And similarly, theta has to be used for indicating the direction of resultant. It has to be expressed in terms of degrees. And in this problem, it is obtained as 75.79 degrees. So friends, finally, now sigma x is obtained as a negative value and sigma y is obtained as a negative value. So in this figure, this is, sigma x will be, somewhere shown in this region and sigma y to be shown in this region. So sigma x is obtained as a negative value after making calculations, after solving problem. Sigma x is obtained as a negative value, sigma y is also obtained as a negative value. So friends, this resultant will be falling in the third quadrant. So he's asking us to mention the location of the resultant of all these forces. So as per the values obtained in the problem, resultant of all these forces, resultant will be falling in the third quadrant. That is the location of the resultant. And friends, theta is obtained as 75.79. So therefore, this resultant which is obtained will be acting in the third quadrant, will be located, will be available in the third quadrant at an angle of 75.79 degrees from the negative x-axis. So both the values are negative. So it falls in the third quadrant. So friends, measure an angle of 75.79 degrees from this negative x-axis and thereby, obtain the resultant, position of the resultant and draw an inclined line at an angle of 75.79 degrees from this negative x-axis. So thereby you will be in a position to locate the position of the result. So this is also given in this particular statement, my dear friends. So the values of x and y are negative. So resultant will be, as I have already told you just now. So the values of x and y are negative. Therefore, resultant will be falling in the third quadrant, and it will be lying at an angle of 75.79 degrees from negative x-axis. So this is what I have just shown you in the figure. To take negative x-axis, measure 75.79 degrees from negative x-axis. So you will be getting a point, draw an inclined line passing through the point. So thereby you will be in a position to indicate the location of the result. So friends, a set of forces as shown in the figure will be given in the problem. So we have to do all the calculations, indication of horizontal and vertical components, and directions of horizontal and vertical components, plus and minus symbols for horizontal and vertical components, writing the equations of sigma x and sigma y, and finally making the final calculations. So after doing all this, initially after doing all these calculations, we have to find out the magnitude of resultant. We have to find out the direction of resultant. And finally, we have to indicate the location of resultant. So friends, these are the questions to be answered. Number one, magnitude of resultant, capital R for indicating magnitude of resultant. And secondly, we have to find out the direction of resultant, theta for indicating the direction of resultant. And obviously, also we have to indicate the location of resultant. So these are the questions to be answered in the examination. So that is first one is finding out the magnitude of resultant. Secondly, finding out the direction of resultant. And also, lastly, indicating the location of resultant in the given figure or in the given configuration. So, friends, these are the things which you are supposed to remember. So we get many problems, different problems of different kinds on force systems, but we have to be thorough with the fundamentals. That means resolving the forces into horizontal and vertical components, giving directions for these components, and allocating symbols based on directions. So all these things we have to do it properly. Then only we can measure the correct values of sigma x and sigma y. So sigma x by taking all the horizontal components, sigma y by taking all the vertical components. Then only we can make correct calculations of sigma x and sigma y. And these values of sigma x and sigma y very, very essential for measuring the magnitude of resultant, capital R. Also useful for measuring the direction of resultant, that is theta in degrees. Also, finally, for indicating the location of a resultant in the given figure or in the given problem or in the given configuration. So, friends, these are the these are the precautions we have to be thorough with all these precautions. And finally, this consideration of angles, that's also very, very important. So theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, and theta 4. So selection of correct values, correct angles, all these cases. So angle made by forces with reference to horizontal must be, taken as these angles, that is theta 1, theta 2, etc., etc. So we have to be careful while selecting angles, while indicating components, direction of components, plus and minus symbols for components. So before starting the problem, we have to do all these activities properly. Then only we will be getting the proper results, namely magnitude of the resultant, secondly direction of resultant, and thirdly, finally, location of resultant. So friends, please remember these rules. They're not only confined, they are not confined to this particular problem. So they are applicable for all the problems pertaining to this particular topic. So thank you all for watching the section.